Hello, once again, this is Brother Teacher. You may not like this, but I'm going to say it anyway. But before I say anything, I want to preface what I'm going to say by saying this. And I've said it in time past, and those who know me intimately across the racial board, you know that I'm not prejudiced. I am not biased in any way. But what I am for sure, for certain, is an individual that loves my own personal freedom and the freedom of everyone. Now, if it just happens that one segment of the population is being abused, irrespective of their color, race, or religion, I'm going to speak out about it. In this particular case, we all know that it has to be the so-called African Americans or black people who are disenfranchised. So my subject now is voting. Now we know that Hillary Clinton just became the nominee for the Democratic Party, and we know that Donald Trump represents the Republican side. I'm not voting. I'm not voting ever again. Now I did vote for President Obama, and I have voted in years prior to that, but my understanding is enlightened, and it has been enlightened for quite a while. So with that, what I'm saying is this: presidents don't matter as it relates to the people. And this should be common knowledge to anyone listening to this. If you have any ounce of intelligence at all, you should know this. Presidents are just figureheads. They are puppets on a string, and they are manipulated by a greater power that sits behind them, behind the scenes that we never see. In other words, that power has a policy, and their policy is for how the United States and even the world runs. They control the president. The president is only in place to give us the illusion that they're there to benefit us, the people, but they're not. I don't care what they campaign on, what their subject is or their talking points. They still have to follow the policy of those that control them. The people that control the president control the world. The people that control the president, they control the United States, not the president. So if you don't understand this, you need to do some due diligence and some very extensive study and research to find this out. And it's not too far from in front of your face, because it's very obvious. You see, as black people, I'm going to say this today, I would encourage any black person to not vote at all. It's not going to matter. Now, I can say on a broader scale, I encourage anyone watching this video, to not vote, because it doesn't matter. The policies that Obama had, the policies that George Bush had, and Clinton before that, they are still the same policies carried out by the president, by the people who control them. So it makes no difference who it is campaigning, how attractive their speech is, how much fluff they throw out, how they embellish the speech. Doesn't matter at all. At the end of the day, they still have to follow the policy of those that control them. It is that simple, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we are voting. When we vote, we're voting for the personality of the individual. So if you like Hillary's charm and charisma, or you like the brashness of a Donald Trump, that's what you're voting for. But you had better believe that all of the things that they say that they want for the American people and for the country, it's not going to happen. It's absolutely not going to happen. They are at the whim of those who control them. And so when the person or the group of people that's sitting behind them who have real power, true power, tell them to go left, that's where they're going to go. If they say go right, that's where they're going to go. If they say shut down America, that is what's going to happen. Plain and simple. Now, as far as black people or so-called African Americans are concerned, we have been disenfranchised, abused, and disproportionately locked up in prison since we've been on this continent called North America, and nothing has changed. We live in a society today, especially in America, that is systematically a slave plantation. It is done economically, especially to the black people that I just mentioned. We are still being oppressed as a people, more so than any other so called culture on the planet, more so than any so called culture in the United States proper. We are still being oppressed. And the fact that so many black folks have been killed at the hands of racist white cops over the past decade is evident. And if you can't see that, something is definitely wrong with you. You choose to be blind. You choose to ignore what is factual and right in front of your face in plain sight. I would hope that the recent murders of Alton Sterling in Baton Rouge and the Minnesota murder of Philando Castile is evident. I mean, how many more blatant situations will you see a police officer just arbitrarily point a weapon and blow the brains out of a black man unarmed? Now, we can go on all day. He had a gun in his pocket, talking about Sterling, that is. But the man was under control by two heavyweight cops laying on top of him. One shouts out he has a gun. The other one pulls his weapon, gangster style, and kills the man right there on the ground. When is enough, ladies and gentlemen? And if that's not enough to convince you, not Alton, but the Philando Castile case, where he pulled over, his girlfriend's driving the vehicle, they're pulled over for a broken tail light. He obviously tells the cop that he has a concealed carry, and the police officer says, well, let me see your ID. Once he reaches for the ID, the police officer shoots him dead on camera. Now, not too long ago, if that's not good for you or good enough, remember Walter Scott in Carolina. He was pulled over, similar incident. He, 50 years old, barely could run, limping while he's running away from a police officer. He posed no threat, Officer Slager. He poses himself, the police officer that is. He aims and he fires 8 times at that man, killing him. Go figure, ladies and gentlemen. Is this the America that you want to continue to support politically? So what is Hillary Clinton going to do for us that Obama didn't do? What is Donald Trump going to do, for that matter, that Obama didn't do? So however the agenda and or the policy is tweaked or changed or modified, it's not going to be their policy. It's going to be the people who are the puppet masters who are controlling them. So once Obama's out of office, whoever held the reins while he was in is going to just control Hillary or Trump. It's plain and simple. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, I'm not voting because it doesn't matter. If you want some additional information on the voting process and how it really plays out, and the fact that when we vote, when we register to vote, that we're actually becoming a part of the so-called United States corporation, because the United States is not a country. If you don't know that, shame on you. All you have to do is some research. Stop just falling for the okie doke, believing everything someone tells you without questioning what is told to you. You have to learn to put on your big boy pants and your big girl pants, pull them up, stand firmly, and challenge things. Challenge everything in life. When you go out to do your grocery shopping, challenge whether or not you're being poisoned with preservatives and with chemicals in your food. Challenge that. Do yourself a favor and be consciously aware of the world in which you live. This is Brother Teacher. I hope you paid attention. I'll see you in the next video. So long.